the streets of Phoenix. As soon as I hit live, it started to rain right now. Pouring down rain. What's up, Sick Nasty? What's going on? Tebow in the building. I like these vertical live streams. We don't do enough of them. I know, we like to be in the studio most of the time, but these vertical live streams are cool because we can do some player polls. So everybody drop a player poll, say redraft, or if it's Superflex or if it's Dynasty, and then give me two players, and we're going to plot those players against each other and vote and talk about it, discuss. So drop two names, and we'll dig right into it. For those of you following all the Debo or the Brandon Ayuk stuff, and I know some of you are getting tired of it, but he is now in Texas. I have it on my Instagram. He's in Texas right now. I don't think that's anything relating to. Let me move out of the rain slightly. I don't think it has anything to do with any Texas teams. This is more so that he's still on vacation. He's still being chartered around by a jet company, and he's tagging that jet company, in his stories and such, giving them a plug. I'm sure they've given him a free ride. So yeah, let's do it. Drop two players that you want to have the community vote on, and then I'll weigh in on which player I like better. Make sure you drop if it's Dynasty or redraft, and we'll kick it off with one of the first questions I see coming up here. So drop your players right now. But yeah, so Ayuk is in Texas right now. I don't know what in the hell is going on with that. I think he's just trying to clear his head and kind of move around. Maybe he's got family there in the jet that he is able to use right now because he's tagging them in any of the posts. Maybe they allowed him to go wherever he wanted. But JD5 was hanging out with him today, hanging out with him yesterday. A lot of crazy stuff going on with that. All right, drop your players right now. Two names, drop them in the live chat, and we'll go ahead and this rain is like coming down hard. It's monsoon season here in Arizona, so it's starting to rain a ton. Vidal and Lloyd. This is a good one. This is a really good one. Vidal and Lloyd. Okay, start a poll. Okay. This would be redraft. I believe you said, right? Did he say redraft? He didn't say. So we're going to assume it's redraft. Vidal, Lloyd, redraft. Vote right now. There you go. My take on this is that, look, these guys are both in similar situations. Neither one of Vidal or Lloyd are going to be starting. I think Lloyd's going to get a lot more work early on. I think you're expecting me to say Vidal here because we're drafting a lot of Vidal late in fantasy football drafts, and we're really I think, especially best ball, really into that kind of value, getting a player that can rise up and be a starter from midseason on. I think we all know that Gus Bus and J.K. Dobbins will not stay healthy. However, I will say, if we're talking redraft here, and let me pull up the poll. Vidal 59%, 61%, 63%. I'm going to shock some people. I'm going to lean Lloyd here. And the reason I'm leaning Lloyd is that they're talking about this guy being used early on, drawing up plays for him. He's exciting. I'm not saying this is not a knock on Jacobs at all. I still very much love Jacobs. It's pouring. It's pouring. We got tons of lightning. Monsoon gets crazy up in here. So I'm going to lean Lloyd. Even in redraft. In Dynasty, maybe that's where I say it's kind of even Steven, because I honestly don't know if Vidal's going to have a long-term, secure spot in LAC. I don't trust. If anything, my doubt in Vidal has more to do with my doubt in Harbaugh. And the way they're talking about Lloyd already, I like him. And again, that's not a knock. Camelback. I'm in Phoenix right now. I'm in Phoenix. Yes, sir. Okay, let me go back to another question here. It looks like Vidal won it's understandable. Like if we're talking about a stash and you want like a home run stash and you'll never use Vidal at all, or Lloyd unless they become a bona fide starter or win a league player, then I could get behind Vidal. But for some reason, I'm leaning right now toward the Lloyd side. Travis says Herbert or Purdy dynasty. Woo! Let's start a new one. All right, end this poll. 61% Vidal. Looks like I disagree with the majority there, but it's really close. It's almost a tie. Herbert, Purdy, dynasty. Herbs, Purdy. Go ahead and vote on that one. I dropped the poll right now. I'm going to be curious to see what you guys think on this one. Jacobs and Lloyd could be lethal. Definitely one of the better cuffs in fantasy, period. In terms of cuffs, in terms of a duo, getting you a almost guaranteed product. You know what I mean? Like, of course, they're cuffs, but that's like an important cuff. Achane and both Mostert and Wright, but really Wright if you're talking about one, very important. And then, of course, Corum is the most important cuff of all. But, damn, Jacobs is in the top. Jacobs and Lloyd's probably in the top 5 or 6 cuffs in fantasy. Let's see here. Herbs over Purdy. It's a tough question because, like, I don't like where Herbert's at. I think Herbert he's got a limiter on his ability to get even 80% of his value. I don't know that anything changes in the short term. And when in short term, I mean like 2 or 3 years. I think Herbert's the better quarterback than Purdy by quite a bit. But Purdy's got a better opportunity, I think, initially at least. So maybe this is something that gets like dead even as we get toward like 2-3 years from now. And then Herbert passes him. Maybe Harbaugh's not even at LAC. I know that's blasphemy. Everyone thinks, oh, Harbaugh's the best thing in the world. Who knows how long his tenure is? I'd probably say give me Purdy if my mindset is now, because I don't think Herbert's got a chance in hell in scoring top 10 quarterback numbers. I think Purdy, he showed he can, and he's got lots of weapons, and the window's closing. Give me Purdy for now. It's a 51 to 49% vote in favor of Herb. So I'm going to end the vote in the poll now. Thank you for everybody voting. It looks like I disagree with the vote again slightly. It's a very close one. Oh, it ended at 50-50. Okay, 43 votes. Let me see if I can find another one. Pickens, someone says Sick Nasty had a good one. Coleman versus Thomas Dynasty. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Coleman. Wait, what was it? Coleman. I already forgot it. Coleman Thomas. Okay. Woo! This is one I would have answered differently like a couple weeks ago, I think. So, BT or Coleman, and we're going to assume everything's 0.5 PPR, just to get everybody covered. We don't need to worry about. Okay, so BT and Coleman. Here we go. Vote now. I'm going to say... Oh, man, I would have said Coleman landslide prior to, like, the last couple of days. I'm going to say Coleman by a hair, but I think BT's closing that gap quite a bit. And the reason I like BT a lot is because, look, the guy came out of college. I mean, I think some of my arguments with people when we're talking BT versus other players over the last couple of days has been the difference maker for me, where I'm starting to truly discuss BT in a different light, and I'm almost talking myself into with my own arguments that I like BT more than a lot of other people like BT right now, and that wasn't the case right out of the gate. I think initially I needed to hear some things, and there's nothing wrong with waiting. I always tell people I reserve the right, you reserve the right, we all reserve the right to make a decision later. We don't have to make any kind of crazy Arizona gets nuts in monsoon, man. It's pouring down rain. I'm literally sitting in the pouring rain right now. I'm trying to get under this umbrella. I'm trying to get covered under this umbrella here. My phone's gonna get wet. I gotta run back to my car. I sat outside of this restaurant here and then it closed and now it's pouring rain. I think at the end of the day, BT to me is right below him and almost, I would say, tie. I'd almost say exact tie. I need to hear some things. Again, like I was saying, we reserve the right to hear more information. We're waiting to hear what kind of role BT is going to have. Is he going to be the Gabe Davis role, which we know Gabe Davis is now in, which was the Ridley role, or would he be playing some sort of different role? Christian Kirk probably does some of the similar things he was doing in the previous season, but I think BT is going to do a lot of what Christian Kirk was doing and what we wanted Ridley to do on top of what Ridley was already doing. I'm going to say Coleman by a hair. Situation's king. He's going to get target share galore. I love Coleman. I love what I'm seeing out of Coleman. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's going to develop really fast, kind of like Christian Watson, feet to the fire, thrown to the wolves. Christian Watson matured really quickly under Aaron Rodgers' command. I'm going to say the same thing happens here with Josh Allen and Coleman. However, BT's climbing quickly. It's a really, really close race at this point. I'm going to end the poll right here. It looks like the chat, I finally agree with the chat on one. BT is so talented, said Rock Out. I mean, 17 touchdowns, led FBS in touchdowns. T-Law versus Herbert. I'll just say that one, since we already did a Herbert one. I'll just say probably T-Law and redraft. I probably would go T-Law. I'm torn on them, but I think Coleman has the slight edge. Agreed. And that was a dynasty question, right? So, Achane versus Kyren. I don't know if I'm going to even put that one up. That's such a close call. And at the end of the day, actually, let's put it up. It's worth talking about, even if it's a tie. I'll put this one up. Was that a dynasty question? I'm going to assume it's redraft. I don't know if you said dynasty. If you said dynasty, my bad. But we'll talk about both. We'll do redraft. Achane, Kyren, go. Boom. The ADP is going to tell you Achane, because Kyren's the one falling into round 3. Achane's also falling, but he's staying in round 2, but barely. Kyren's falling to mid 3, top of round 3 to mid 3. Achane's falling from about almost the tail end of 2 into the 3.1. I'm going to say Kyren, especially if I'm cuffing Corum to him. But even if I'm cuffing Wright to Achane and Corum to Kyren, I'm drafting the Corum-Kyren combo. If you told me I couldn't cuff Corum to Kyren, but I could cuff Achane to Wright, I probably in redraft would pick Achane and Wright. That's how close it is. I love both of them. Dynasty, it's not much of a different situation other than I probably would lean toward Achane by a hair, especially if we're talking about having no cuffs at all. But you know what I can do? I noticed the canopy behind me. Yeah, the rain was coming at an angle earlier, but it's not now. We're good. I'm going to say complete tie if you have all the cuffs involved. Slight lean to Kyren, but so close that I could rotate between the two. Thank you. Garrett says these are his favorite streams. There we go. Enjoy the Arizona rain. Very close call, though. Very, very close call. What else do we got here? Tyreek, JD5 Lamar. JD5. Lamar. Okay. I don't know. I should have prefaced if it was redraft or dynasty. I'm going to give you my answer. I don't care if it's redraft or dynasty. Give me JD5. You might call me crazy. Of course, I'm going to, at cost of entry, try and get JD5 later than Lamar. But if in a vacuum, if getting on an airplane and it's week one's about to kick off, the doors close, and I'm going to land at week 19, in the playoffs, I'm going to tell you as the door closed, JD5 outscores Lamar. That's redraft. Dynasty, absolutely. But redraft, I think JD5 does what AR5 was going to do last year. I think JD5 does what Stroud did last year all year long. I think JD5 is absolutely the next Lamar Jackson. And I think Lamar Jackson, with the addition of Derrick Henry, given that he never really has elite wide receivers, name the last elite wide receiver that Lamar's ever supported, ever. Lamar's never had an elite wide receiver, ever. Hollywood Brown was probably his biggest producing wide receiver, right? Am I wrong on that? I'm spitballing it here, but this is a guy that doesn't throw like JD5 throws. JD5 is a top 5 potential passing quarterback. JD5 can sling the damn ball. JD5 can throw like crazy. The wind's starting to come in here like it was earlier. I'm getting wet. JD5 60-40. I didn't preface it if that was redraft or dynasty, but JD5 is going to be a way better passer. Way better passer from the jump. Waddle or Garrett Wilson redraft, that's not even close to me, bro. Garrett Wilson is a top 12 overall pick. Waddle, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to be in the top 2 rounds. I think he's a 3rd rounder. Okay, Cody, better than Garendo. Who are you talking about? Okay, send that rain to Vegas for the weekend. Yeah, maybe. Pacheco, the weird thing about Arizona is, look, it dies down a little bit, and then it goes hard, and then it dies down. It gets all crazy. Andrews or Pitts dynasty? Probably Pitts in redraft and dynasty. I'd take them both. Garrett Wilson or Gibbs? That's a tough one. Garrett Wilson. What was that one? Garrett Wilson or Gibbs? Okay, vote right down below. Garrett Wilson or Gibbs? I'll probably say Gibbs across the board, redraft dynasty. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. I think Garrett Wilson is going to be a monster. In dynasty, let me just say that you've got Aaron Rodgers maybe delivering what we hoped he'd deliver last year, this year, but how long can he do it? What happens if this rookie that they drafted, Travis, doesn't end up being the guy we want him to be? Garrett Wilson then follows back into, kind of the same hole he was in last year, where he's great, but he's got a limiter on him. I think anybody that thinks that Herbert's going to have a great year, maybe he has a better year than I expect, but think about Garrett Wilson and how talent can't win if you don't have the opportunity. And a running back can be, like Jonathan Brooks might be in a bad spot, and I know Chris from Vegas is here. It's improving, and we hope that Carolina gets better. But Jonathan Brooks is in a, right now, bad spot, looking to get better, and he's a great player. He's a running back. He can still thrive. He can help the team turn around, Quarterback, same thing can happen unless you're in Herbert's situation where you're probably going to be dumbed down a lot. The offense will be watered down a lot, and you got a limiter on Herbert's potential to produce even 70% of what he's capable of producing. Herbert, I think his line in Vegas is like 3,500 yards. That's awful. 3,500 yards. We had somebody last night that was like Herbert will get, they were pro Herbert, and they're like 2,900 yards. 2,900 to 3,500 yards. So going back to the Garrett Wilson thing, if Garrett Wilson loses Aaron Rodgers in 1 year, 2 years, and we don't know who's signal calling there, it's a little concerning. Jahmyr Gibbs, he'll probably be good no matter what happens with the offense, no matter what happens with Goff. Goff should be okay for a couple years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years. Goff could survive I would say at least a good 3 years. Gibbs, I think he's a top 5 overall player right now. We're just lucky and take advantage. Lucky we can get him in the late first round. I think my phone froze for a second. Is this Arizona? Yeah. Hold on, I keep getting a lot of spam calls. Hold on 1 second. Let me just put myself on do not disturb. I don't know why I'm getting so many spam calls at one time. All right, 108 of you in here, only 33 thumbs up. Hit that thumb up button. Lamb or Hill? Let's go there. That's a great one. Lamb or Hill? Redraft. We know you mean redraft because there's no way this is a question in Dynasty. Can you guys hear me okay? I know the rain is loud. Lamb or Hill? Drop it. Rock out with a $5 holler. I can't do any mashed potatoes necessarily, but we can do it outside. Rock out to the moon. Any $5 hollers get an outdoor mashed potato. Outdoor. Andrew with a $5 holler. Andrew, outdoor mashed potato. Outdoor mashed potato, no problem. Smitty, you packed for Vegas? I have not yet. Wish I could go. Yeah, no problem. Rock out. We'll miss you there, pal. Rain or shine, Smitty goes live. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you. Andrew, are you the Andrew going to Vegas? I always mix up all my Andrews. I never know which Andrew's which Andrew. But hopefully you're the one going to Vegas. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that against the Andrews that's going, but I mean, hopefully I can talk to you about it right now. Golf, appreciate you. Golf in the building. Theo, what's up? Okay, let's get to this. Lamb, 63%. Tyreek Hill, 36%. Redraft. Which one do we like? What's up, media? Yeah, I'm going to Vegas, bro. Hopkins versus Ridley. That's a good one, too. I'm going to lean Ridley, though. Andrew, let me know if you're the Andrew going to Vegas. Andrew Grace. Wow, really coming down there? Yeah, it is. Thank you, media. Appreciate you. In redraft, it's not a big decision for me. I mean, yeah, it is actually. I think I'd take Lamb. I think I'd take Lamb 60% of the time. Hill 40. Hill is getting to the point where I'm not going to run away from him. No way. Not this year. But I really do wonder if we're getting closer to that time where, did I say Lamb? Hill? Where Tyreek Hill starts having some injuries. Smitty goes live, rain or shine. Thank you, Rock Out, for another $5 holler. Rock out to the moon. Rock out, mashed potato. Any $5 hollers. We're doing a discount on mashed potatoes today since we're in the rain. Appreciate you all being here. Tua, Tyreek, Hawk, Tua, Tagovailoa, McBride or Kincaid. Probably McBride for right now. I did a video on that. Go watch it. Can somebody give me an argument of Hill over Lamb? Would it be that Dak and the Cowboys are going to struggle on a year where they're worried about their contract? Dak's worried about his contract. McCarthy's worried about his contract. Will Dak even get a contract right before the season? I think he probably will. I'd say 65% chance Dak signs an extension before the season begins. I really believe that. But can I get an argument of why Hill has a much better offense and coaching? Is that really true though, Sebastian? I'm not saying you can't make that argument, but Dallas is a top 5-6 offense every year, bro. And you take a running back out of that equation, right? But what running back are we taking out? Pollard played like shit. You know, so like they didn't have a running game last year. I think our gripe on Dallas is they didn't fix that, but did they really change anything? Last year they didn't have a good run game. I kind of feel like Dak and the Cowboys will still be a top 6, 7, top 8 offense in the National Football League. Lamb's gonna eat hardcore, but I don't hate your take. I don't hate your take. I'd also say that you've got a bigger risk with Tua staying upright than you do Dak and the offense staying potent. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a factor. Also, Tyreek Hill getting older, and he's one of those quick twitch wide receivers. Hamstrings go out at weird times with those guys. Not saying I'm betting against Hill, just Lamb versus Hill. Give me Lamb 60% of the time, maybe even 65% of the time. Doesn't mean I hate Hill. I'm drafting Hill almost immediately after if Chase is off the board. So it's Lamb, Chase, Hill. And then I rotate Hill and Chase probably 50-50. So that would be my take there. Lab McConkey versus Coleman. We talked a little bit about this last night, but I don't mind talking about it again. Redraft. Ladd. Coleman. And I don't think this will change. Maybe the chat vote would change, but my vote probably won't. If anything, I get more on board Coleman in Dynasty than redraft. But I'm going to say with this one, give me Coleman all day long in redraft, and especially in Dynasty, because he's got the quarterback, he's got the offense. I don't think Lab McConkey's as good as people make him out to be. I loved his skill set, and where I wanted him to go was a place that could develop him and cultivate him, not a place where he can go incomplete and not get completed, not get those bridges gapped and the voids in his game filled. I think that had he gone to Buffalo, Coleman, let me make a very important point. Coleman and Ladd are similar. If Ladd went to Buffalo and Coleman went to LAC, you'd hear me saying the exact same thing reversed, because I think Coleman also has a bunch of gaps in his game and some bridges that need to be, the gap needs to be created or brought together. These gaps need to be bridged, so to speak. And that's where I think you're going to see Coleman develop and thrive. And any deficiencies he has, you'll get filled by the presence and offense in Buffalo, the presence of Josh Allen. He'll turn Coleman into a wide receiver Coleman never would have turned into. And that same thing would have happened for McConkey. So if you look back at my earlier rankings, I love Ricky Pearsall, I love Lab McConkey, I love Malachi Corley, and then Leggett was kind of in there. I like those guys more than a lot of people. BT, we liked a lot too. But the thing about McConkey, Pearsall, and Coleman is they were all very dependent on the situations they landed in. Ricky Pearsall's in a cloudy now situation that might open up and become very, very solid. This rain is crazy. And then I think you put Pearsall in a situation that's going to change, even if it's next year, where Debo or Ayuk is gone. He's in a very potent system that will produce for him, and they love him there. And he's a great route runner. He's probably the best route runner on the team if Ayuk is out of there, because he's a better runner than Debo already in terms of route running. Debo's the best yak yardage guy in the league, but that's a whole different category. But they're both very useful. But in the terms of Lab McConkey, he came into the league without his best season was like 807, 806. He doesn't have this big resume he's bringing to the table. And unfortunately, because he's an incomplete wide receiver like Coleman, he's not going to have those gaps bridged or those voids filled. And it's unfortunate, but he won't develop. So I'm going to say, give me Coleman by a country mile in redraft and especially in Dynasty. Monsoon in Arizona, yeah, see how it dies down? And then it comes back. It dies down, it comes back. Sometimes it'll rain for 10 minutes and not rain for a week. Sometimes it'll rain for like 4 days straight. Monsoon's crazy. Christian Watson or Coleman, that's a tougher one. I probably lean, without putting up a poll, I'd probably say I'd probably say give me Coleman by a hair, but very, very good. Corley or Leggett dynasty. Give me Leggett because I think he's the clear number one, and Corley is not, and we don't know what the quarterback situation is. But I love Corley a lot. That's not a knock on him. St. Brown or CD, that's an easy one. I'm not going to put the pull up for that one. Not that St. Brown can't become amazing and take another step forward. He totally could. But Lamb's going number one in dynasty or in redraft leagues for a reason. And in dynasty drafts, he's top 1 or 2. But they're close. But Lamb for me, and then St. Brown's the top 6 overall guy, top 7 overall dynasty guy. Gibbs or Bijan, give me Bijan over Gibbs. But I think an argument can be made. If I had 2 leagues side by side, I'll be honest with you. I want Bijan in one, I want Gibbs in the other. I got another league, I want Hall in that league. I got another league, I want Kyron and Achane together in that league, and maybe go Chase in round 1, and then go Achane and Kyron together. Jaden Reed or Pickens, I'm gonna lean toward Jaden Reed by a hair, but that's a really, really close one. Brooks or Benson, give me Benson. I think his offense is better, but Brooks is very exciting. I like that. Lloyd or Wright. Okay, bro, guess what just happened to me? What happened to you? What happened to you? Zach Moss or Zamir? Give me Zamir, but I like both of them a lot. A.J. Brown or Nakua? Give me Nakua by a hair based on volume and offense, but and the way they use him. But A.J. Brown's in a pretty damn good offense himself. They both got complementary wide receivers that could be looked at as a good thing and a bad thing. Very similar situation, but go ahead and give me... Okay, this one's pretty good. Brian Thomas or Benson in Dynasty. Let's put that one up. So, Dynasty. Benson. BT. Brian Thomas Jr. or Benson in Dynasty. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Yeah, sometimes we get some wild. When you do a vertical live stream, you get suggested to a lot of newer audience members. So sometimes we get some wild stuff. About as wild as the rain. I'm gonna go BT in a PPR. BT in a 0.5 PPR, obviously Benson in a non-PPR, but I want to say that if you need a running back and you're pretty good at wide receiver, I could go Benson in a millisecond. I like them both a lot. I like them both quite a bit. I could probably see myself saying Benson tomorrow morning and then getting asked the question the next day and saying Benson is, barely behind BT, Benson, BT. I don't know. It's a really tough one. I think I'm just going to say because we know BT's there to stay. Like, I'm not saying that Benson's not the long-term starter. He very much is. But what if Connor has a healthy year? He could. I don't think he will. But if he does, then what happens? Then the next year, what happens with Benson? How does this look a year from now? The only reason I say that is we have seen that happen with A.J. Dillon. We have seen that happen with a couple players before where we're like, okay, maybe they'll wait 1 year. And then A.J. Dillon, we just kept waiting. We just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. We waited on Derrick Henry for a handful of years, too. We're lucky that one worked out. But I'm going to say BT based on that alone. But if I need a running back and I'm good at wide receiver, Benson. I can smash it really quickly. Our poor mods are getting hit tonight. Okay, let's see here. We had a Caleb or JD5. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, buddy boy. Drake May or Bryce Young. Woo! I guess we could put that one up. That one's going to be hard. Bryce Young, Drake May. We'll put Dynasty, right? So Dynasty, Young, or May. Wow. I put maybe. Young or maybe. Let me end that pool. Hold on. Let me start it over. Damn autocorrect. Bryce or May. Come on! Stop autocorrecting. I guess I don't have to put a title. That's great. Okay. So Bryce Young or Drake May? I'm gonna say Drake May. I know Vegas. Chris from Vegas is in here. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna say Drake May. Look, Drake May. Look, both of them could bust. I mean, and then Bryce Young can maybe be, I think, a top 12 to 15 guy. I don't know if we're gonna get a top like 8 to 10 or 7 to 8 or like a Brock Purdy type of situation. With Drake May, I don't know we're getting it either, but at least there's some sort of shot for it. But I don't know. I like May. I like May more. It's a close call. For 2024 redraft, give me Bryce Young all day long. Bryce Young all day long. But I don't know that May's got a higher ceiling. Even if let's say May had a riskier. You know, like has a lower floor, he's riskier. I still would take him because the ceiling's a little higher. So it's tough. I don't think Bryce Young will be top 10. So that's a good question, though. Fields or Penix Jr. Oh, that's a good one. Let's go with that one. Fields. Don't auto-correct me on Penix Jr., please. 2024. This one's easy. Penix Jr. I shouldn't say it's easy, actually. Kind of hard. Give me Penix Jr. Kind of tough. You're banking on an injury for both of them, right? You got to have an injury in Justin. For Justin Fields for that job to open up, or Russell Wilson's got to be garbage, or Kirk Cousins has got to get hurt. I think the likelihood of Kirk Cousins getting hurt is pretty high. I hate to say that. If Ron Navy's in here, he's going to be pissed off because he can't dial in. But Penix Jr., I just envision, as I said a lot, I think Ricky Pearsall's season starts this year. I can't see Ricky Pearsall's story beginning next year. Even if Ayuk doesn't get traded and somehow, some way they go in with the receivers they have in San Francisco, I could see Ricky Pearsall by way of injury, knock on wood. That's metal. I don't have any wood anywhere. So here's wood. Knock on wood. I don't want injury to anybody. But I could see Ricky Pearsall's story being this year. I don't know why. I can just envision it. In Penix Jr., same thing. I don't want injury for Cousins. I hope Cousins balls out, but I just see Penix Jr. getting to the game. Once he gets in, I don't think he's coming out. Connor or Ford? Give me Ford all day. And that might sound crazy to some people because Connor had such a good ending of the 2023 season, but he was bad the whole beginning and middle, and he got hurt a couple times. And then on top of that, it's like, you know, Benson's a star in the making, you know. Braylon Allen versus Benson. Give me Benson. Pretty easy. I like Braylon Allen a lot, but Benson to the moon, man. He's a star, bro. He's a star. Mixon or Moss, redraft. Probably you have to go Mixon there, but almost in some ways for trade value. You know, like you could trade Mixon for a ton. You could go get 10 times that in return. So, and trade value alone, yeah, but I mean, yeah, mixing. I mean, I think drop off is happening, but situation could help remedy a little bit of that and get some of that value back. But I do like Moss a lot. Bowers versus Pitts in Dynasty, I like Bowers. In redraft, I like Pitts, and then we're hopeful that Bowers can look the part by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Tank Dell or DJ Moore, that's a good one. Let's put that one up. Tank Dell, DJ Moore. Dell. And DJM. There we go. Dell. Give me Dell. I get it. I get it. DJ Moore's going higher. I don't care. I don't agree with the ADP. I don't necessarily draft Dell where DJ Moore is going. I don't need to. You don't need to. None of us need to. But we take advantage of it. We hit home runs. We win leagues maybe because of it. But at the end of the day, like my plane scenario, I'm getting on an airplane and it's going to take off right before week 1 and land after week 18. And you say, Smitty, I got to place a bet. There's no advantage on taking one over the other. Tell me who's going to outscore the other. The doors of the airplane are closing, and I yell, Tank Dell. Tank Dell will outscore DJ Moore. DJ Moore's in a crowded wide receiver room. 62-38, you guys agree. ETN or Jacobs, that's a really good one. Wow. This one's I'm torn on. I truly believe like I could rotate this one in a draft. Like one draft I could take Jacobs, so one draft I could take ETN. I think right now I'm leaning ETN by a hair, but that doesn't mean that can't change. If you cuff Murray and Jacobs together, I like that a little bit more than just a standalone ETN. ETN's not really a guy you can cuff. I don't think Bigsby proved anything, and so there's more risk in ETN. ETN keeps producing though. If push comes to shove and I've got one opportunity, I'm taking ETN. But if I've got two leagues side by side, I'm going to tell you right now, it's close enough to where it's like a 55% lean toward ETN. So that means that if I got two leagues side by side, I go ETN on one and Jacobs in the other. I think Jacobs has the ability to be one of the sneakiest top 6 to 10 running backs in 2024. He also still though has the ability to disappoint a little bit. But I really like Jacobs in Green Bay. Green Bay, I feel like they're going to rejuvenate him a little bit. I feel like this offense is going to explode. I feel like defenses can't focus on Jacobs because there's so much talent all over the field. Even if we don't believe they have a legit wide receiver one, they've got like two or three high-end wide receiver twos. They got Luke Musgrave. Jordan Love is going to do really well facilitating and throwing all around the field. But I do believe Christian Watson gets on his horse this year. Absolutely love him. And I'm all in. Thomas, appreciate you. Did Andrew Grace say if he's the Andrew Grace going to Vegas? Did anybody catch that? Travis, did you see that? Andrew, if you're watching, let me know. Bowers or Kincaid? Very good question, Chris from Vegas. I think Kincaid across the board, though. I like Bowers a lot. He could be the number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 tight end in Dynasty. No doubt about it, but from a Dynasty perspective, I'm still taking Kincaid, and then redraft is not even close because rookies, you know what I mean? Andrew Grace, if you're here, let me know if you can answer that question. Kincaid or Pitts, go Kincaid across the board. Andrew, you live in Vegas. But you're not the one going to the event, right? There's another Andrew that's going to my Vegas event. Andrew, you got to get to Vegas if you're not him. What's the YouTube handle of the Andrew going to Vegas? But Andrew Grace, if you're in Vegas, you got to come down and see me. Stadium Swim, Friday and Saturday night. I'll be at Stadium Swim. My 8 p.m. show Eastern is 5 p.m. Vegas time. It's actually 5 p.m. Arizona time too. I just go off Eastern time for majority of the people. But I'll be in Vegas. My 5 p.m. Vegas show, 8 p.m. Eastern. That will be in one of the cabanas at Stadium Swim. Stroud or AR5. AR5 by it quite a bit. Kincaid or McBride by a hair, but I love both of them. Dak or Love, give me Dak for safety, love for upside. But very, very close, 50-50. Hollywood or Coleman? Give me Coleman. AR5 or JD5? Woo! The fives, bro. I think you broke the matrix on that one. Live stream, lives. AR5, JD5. AR5, JD5. What's going on? The simulation's breaking. AR5, JD5. Why are you asking me this kind of question? I don't know what to say. Simulation breaking, 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 breaking. Breaking. AR, JD, fives. The fives are the fives are the ticket. Probably say JD5, but very close. You want safety, go AR5. And safety, I just mean like you're getting it now, but like injury risk, maybe there's more injury risk with AR5 than JD5. Golf, as Ron Navy calls him. Jared Goff or Tua, give me Tua. What can you get for Jacobs in Dynasty? Probably not as much as you want. What I'd do is couple him. I'd go get a Debo, I'd go get a Ayuk, happy to give up something. I'd go get like stuff like that, or I'd give up more and get Kyron or Achane because they're doubted. Or I'd use them to get a huge quarterback upgrade if you didn't have a good quarterback and you wanted, Jalen Hurts or something like that. Najee or Rashad White or Zamir White. I'm going to say Najee over Zamir by a hair, but I like them both. I can rotate that. Probably Rashad White if it's Rashad. Eckler versus Chubb, probably Eckler. Saquon versus Kyron. Give me Kyron, especially if he's cuffed, and if he's not cuffed, I'd probably still take Kyron, but very, very close. And that's weird because you draft Barkley in 2, you draft Kyron in 3, but that's because you can. It is weird to take Barkley in 2, leaving Kyron on the board, but a lot of times I get them both that way. And if I go, let's say, if I go like Jamar Chase or Hill or St. Brown in 1, then I go Barkley and Kyron. I feel pretty good about that. But I like to go Achane and Kyron more so. MHJ or first-round draft picks. How many draft picks? If you don't know where they're at, they're guaranteed 1 overall, then it's a tougher situation. I'd still take MHJ over the guaranteed 1 overall next year. But if it's the guaranteed 1 overall next year and another draft pick from that same team that's garbage and there's a chance you get a couple, then it becomes tougher. But at the end of the day, bro, you have no guarantee. So I'm taking MHJ over 2 first-rounders. I might take MHJ over 3 first-rounders. And you can call me crazy all you want. Flowers or Pickens and redraft. Let's do redraft. Flowers or Pickens and redraft. It's a great one. Flowers. Pickens. Guys, if you're new, subscribe. I go live more than anybody in the fantasy football industry. This is just one of many streams. This is the second one today. So if you are new, and this is your new home, I'm outside of my studio right now. Go look back at a few other videos to get a sense of what the show looks like normally, but this is kind of what we do once in a while. I like this because we can do these polls, and it also gives us an opportunity to get a new type of community, a new amount of people into the building. I'm taking MHJ over 3 first-rounders if it's 1 QB, says Theo. Me too. Okay, this will be the last poll, and then I got to go running because the rain died down. Look at it. See what I'm saying? There's like no rain left. This rain dripping off the roof is just coming from the roof up there. Flowers or Pickens? I lean Flowers by a hair. Joseph Cigar Smoking Joe Burrow versus Kyler. You might be surprised. I might lean Kyler. He's a running quarterback. Barely. I love Joe Burrow as a person, as a player, Bengals as a team. Everything about Joe Burrow I love, but I'm going to lean Kyler probably because of the running upside, but very, very close call. Yeah, Desert Storm for sure. It's monsoon season, baby. All right, I appreciate every single one of you. Please subscribe if you're new. We only have 57 thumbs up and 121 of you in here. If you guys could all do me a favor and just hit the thumb up button on the way out the door, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help the channel a lot. Thank you for my super chats. I had Rock Out drop 2 of them. Who was the other one that dropped the first one of the night? The first one of the night was, who was it? Who was it? Damn it! Who was it? I don't know if it'll tell me anymore. Top chat. Oh, here it is. Rock Out, Andrew Grace, and Rock Out. Thank you guys for dropping it. $2 hauler from Rhino. Rhino, appreciate you. Thank you very much, good buddy, good pal. I also can sort these by super chats only, not to say I'm a greedy bastard or anything, but like when we do a Q&A outside, I won't miss anything because I can just sort by super chats. And so this could become a Q&A session environment potentially during like Friday night, Saturday night live bench show or something like that. Hit that like button, says Rhino. Rhino gets a mashed potato just because he dropped one. Rhino, appreciate you dropping the $2 hauler. You're the man, the myth, the legend. Hit that like button on the way out the door. 103 of you still in here, only 70 thumbs up. Punch it, do it live. See you all tomorrow. Appreciate you.